Now that we're deep in strawberry picking season, I'm going to show you how to make this delicious, simple and easy, no-bake strawberry cheesecake, both gluten and dairy free. Hello everyone, and welcome back to my channel, where I share my simple life on a small island on the east coast of Canada. I love to share gluten and dairy free baking, sewing, gardening, and everything in between. If this is something you enjoy, please like, comment, and subscribe. We're going to be kicking things off by starting to make the pie crust. I bought a box of these Made Good vanilla wafers. Now you can use any cookie you want in order to make your pie crust. You could use Oreos or some animal crackers. I will link the original recipe that I used in the description box down below, but please note that I have made some modifications. So this recipe calls for 25 cookies, so I add the whole bag, which is 27 cookies. We're going to blend this in my Ninja blender food processor until it is fine crumbs. Then we're going to be adding 1/4 cup of melted coconut oil, blending it again until fine, and putting it into our pie plate. Now, if there is anything that you happen to see here that I'm using in this video, like this Ninja blender food processor, or the hand mixer, or even the baking ingredients, I now have an Amazon storefront, and with Prime Days fast approaching on July 16th and 17th, please be sure to check it out so that you can get at a deal, any of these items that I'm using in this video. I would earn a small commission on anything you happen to purchase through my Amazon storefront, and that goes to help support my channel and allows me to bring you more videos. So for all of you that are subscribed and a part of my channel, I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart. I appreciate all of you being here. So here I'm just using a traditional pie plate. I have first lined it with some olive oil to make sure that the crust won't stick to the pan. You could also use parchment paper, but I do find the oil a little bit better as to not take the parchment paper as a part of your piece of pie when you cut it, if that makes sense. So we're going to be pressing the cookie base into the pie crust so that it covers not only the bottom, but that it goes up and to the sides, as seen here. If you happen to enjoy any of my content, be sure to hit that subscribe button, as well as the notification bell, and please comment down below, as it really helps support my channel. Moving on to making the filling for this pie. You're going to be taking an 8-ounce container of Adaya dairy-free cream cheese. If you're in Canada, you can also use the PC brand cream cheese. You're going to take the whole container and put it into a mixing bowl, and we're going to mix it with a hand mixer until smooth. You could also use a stand mixer if you have one, but if you don't happen to have a stand mixer, a hand mixer will work perfectly fine. Once you've mixed this until smooth and creamy, we're then going to be adding 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract and 1/2 cup of powdered sugar. Now the original recipe calls for 3 tablespoons of powdered sugar, but as you see in the future, I will be adding 2 ounces of freeze-dried powdered strawberries, and this leaves it a little tangy because it's a little bit more than the recipe calls for. So to accommodate for that, I add 1/2 cup of powdered sugar. And like I said, the original recipe will be linked in the description box down below. So once we've mixed everything until smooth, I'm then going to take the freeze-dried strawberries. Now I got these freeze-dried strawberries at our local Dollarama if you happen to be in Canada. They are $1.25 a bag. This recipe calls for approximately 1.2 ounces or 40 grams of freeze-dried strawberries, blended up in the food processor to a powder and then added to your whipped mixture. I happened to buy 3 bags, so I used about 2 ounces or 60 grams of freeze-dried strawberries in this recipe. I just wanted a really nice, strong, delicious strawberry flavor. Now I have linked an alternative in my Amazon storefront of freeze-dried strawberries that you can get if you can't find any at your local dollar store or Dollarama. so this will be helpful. So once I add the 3 bags into our little Ninja food processor, I'm going to combine until they're a fine powder. Put the lid on. I love this little Ninja blender food processor. It also has lids, so if you happen to make any dips or sauces, or you're making anything in advance, you can keep it in the fridge so that it's nice and cool. It also has 2 sizes, where this size where you can use for dips or just making crumbs or pie crust, or if you want to be making smoothies or something larger, maybe like some salad dressings or something, then you have both sizes. So be sure to check out the Ninja blender in my Amazon storefront. So now we're going to be adding this strawberry freeze-dried powder into our coconut cream cheese that we blended, and we're going to combine this until smooth. Then we're going to be adding 1 full container of dairy-free cocoa whip. You can get this in your freezer section of your local grocery store. This one is made by Soy Delicious. This is the only one that I have local to me, so I'm really grateful for that. It's really great for making no-bake cheesecakes. So we're going to be adding the whole container of this cocoa whip to our mixture. And this is where kind of like a stand mixer would come in handy, because it is a bit of a struggle. I feel like if you let the cocoa whip stand on the counter and melt a little bit, it's just too runny, whereas the hand mixer does struggle a little bit to kind of blend all of this in the beginning, as you can see here. But we battle through, and we're going to combine this until nice and smooth before we add it to our crust. So I'll show you a top-down view so that you can actually see kind of the consistency of what your filling should look like that's going into your pie mix. As you can see here, you just blend it until your cocoa whip is nice and smooth, and then we're going to be adding it to our pie crust. This is a very simple ingredient, no-bake strawberry pie. Really simple ingredients. I think you will find it really easy to make. You could also store this in the freezer. I did that, and it definitely is an option if you want to make it in advance to store it in the freezer. Then you would just take it out like 20 minutes before you want to cut it and serve it. Once we pour the mixture into the pie plate, you do need to let it chill in the fridge for 6 to 8 hours. Now, I let this one chill overnight, but you do want to make sure that it chills so that the filling gets nice and firm. You can also put it in the freezer until it's frozen, and then take it out 20 minutes before you want to serve it so that it's easier to cut. This is what it looks like before it's going to be going into the fridge. Now, if you want to make a larger one or 2 of them, obviously you would double the recipe. So now I'm going to be making a couple of garnishes for this delicious strawberry no-bake pie. I take my Enjoy Life chocolate chips, also linked in my Amazon storefront, and we're going to add a little bit of coconut oil, and we're going to melt it in the microwave at 30-second increments until the chocolate is completely melted. Now, I'm going to be attempting to make some chocolate hearts that we're going to be putting on the pie as embellishments. Now, I think there would have been a much easier way for me to do this. Using a plastic bag or a piping bag would have been probably much more helpful and more successful. But first, I'm going to take some of the strawberries that we got, and we're going to do some chocolate dipped strawberries that we're also going to add as embellishments to our strawberry pie. So when we happen to serve it, it will, help make it look nice and pretty. So this pie has 6, 8, 9 slices depending on how big you want to make them. So once I've made my strawberry dip chocolate dip strawberries, I place them in the fridge until completely chilled. This kind of gives you a top-down view so that you can see the consistency of the chocolate and me dipping the strawberries. So once this is complete, Like I said, place your strawberries in the fridge. And now we're going to move on to attempting to make some chocolate hearts. Now this is a real struggle for me. I obviously just use a spoon and try and put them into a heart shape and leave a little bit of a stick that it can stick down into the pie. And like I said, I'm sure if you use a plastic bag where you put in the milk with the chocolate and cut off the end, or use a piping bag, you'll be much more successful at making these garnishes for this strawberry pie. These will be placed in the freezer until heard. Let me know in the comments down below if you would happen to have an easier method to recommend to make these chocolate garnishes for this strawberry pie. I will be sure to add other videos at the end of this video that you can watch until my next upload. And here is a look at what everything looks like with the chocolate coated strawberries and the chocolate hearts. Everything turned out pretty good, I think. Looks really pretty. It's absolutely delicious. Really simple, few ingredients, easy to make. Thank you so much for tuning in, everyone. We'll see you again soon. Bye-bye.